can hopefully get things underway and sorted from that. We do have all the players in the lobby now, though. So with any luck, we're already there already. We should be in here as soon as possible in the picks and bans. But there we go, as I say it.
There we go, the start button has been hit, and we are jumping over into the picks and bans. This time around, Curse Gaming, first ban, first pick, immediately removing Lee Sin from the pool, and it's over to the Midgets to decide what they remove now.
Okay, so safe to say, yes, they didn't want to come up against it. They're going to put that on, take it off the table. Lee Sin and Olaf, very quick bans in actual fact from Curse, but again, very similar to what they did against Fnatic.
Yeah, very true. On the same token as well, Diana once again removed. So Fnatic, they did not want Extinct playing Diana, or Diana, didn't want her in his hands and to be used to the best of her ability, and immediately been taken out. And we've seen just how much damage that champion can cause. You know, the Pale Cascade, get Azonya's Hourglass on there. It's tanky, it's bruisery, can dive in, can survive. It's a difficult champion to kill. For the third ban, Curse are definitely thinking about this one. There's not a question about it. And I wonder, oh, there we go, Zyra being removed at the last second. I wonder if we're going to see an Ezreal once again. We've seen him 4 out of 4 thus far. And this is the 5th game of the day. So removing Katarina, does Extinct play Cat?
Not particularly. I must admit that's a little bit of a surprise, but she is an amazing champion. You can do some crazy things to her, and one bad team fight from, in this case, Mighty Midgets, if Curse had it, she picks up 3, she picks up 4 kills. That's it, that's game over. You're not going to stop Katarina once she's picked up those kills. She's got those kind of items, she's got that fed. She's just going to snowball out of control, and the next fight, you won't be able to stop her. So, I mean, if you can't take another ban, it's a smart way to go.
Fair enough. It's sort of like banning out Cassidy in solo queue. You know, even though there's very few people that actually play him or play him well, you know, it's a safe bet because it's one of those risky champions that can just snowball out of control and turn things around. So we've used most of the pick time for Anguish, and he's really talking to the team. What do we want to pick? Who do we want to lock in? And they've decided to lock in Xin'Zhao once again. Shen was available, but they decided not to take him. Not yet, anyway.
Well, I don't know exactly, but I have a sneaky suspicion Xin'Zhao does quite well against Shen in the top lane anyway, and therefore the same reasoning in the jungle. So if it is picked up here by Mighty Midgets, Curse can kind of adapt around it. They can either give it to Lulu or they can give it to Anguish, and they can decide which one of them will run it and where they will do that. They're just going to wait and get the rest of their picks and get the Mighty Midget picks on the table before they ultimately decide where they put him. And I immediately love this combo from Mighty Midgets.
Yeah.
It starts out, it's that Orianna ball, place it on someone very deep initiate, whether it be a jungle and Mumu, or whether it be a Malphite perhaps in the top lane, place the ball on them, they go straight in amongst the enemy team. He pops that ultimate from the shockwave, immediate displacement, and everyone pulls him in close and on top of him. And then, of course, you got the knock-up from Lulu. It pushes them all straight up in the air as the knock-up. It's uncontrollable CC. You can't tenacity against knock-ups. You can't cleanse a knock-up. So that's all solid and confirmed every time.
I would love to see Malphite in the jungle. I would love to see Malphite in the jungle, or even Nocturne. Nocturne would also be another phenomenal champion for this type of initiation. You know, get that really aggressive, go super deep, dive past everybody, dive onto the carries and pick them up. Super Race was hovering on Cassiopeia for a second, and I don't know if that's a troll or, you know, it would be awesome to see Cass back in play. It's been a long time since we've seen a Snake Lady, but
it's not one of its champions. Not even close. Okay. And there is 5 out of 5. There is, sorry, 4 out of 4, as you say.
Yep.
There is Ezreal. So, no, it is 5.
Yeah, this is the 5th one.
Yep.
This is the 5th one. Up till now, all 4 previous games, somebody has played Ezreal. He has not been banned once. So, interestingly, since the attack speed debuff has been removed, he's no longer ban-worthy, but he's still powerful enough to be picked in every single game that we've featured thus far. So Cho'Gath and Ezreal, so that once again allows some versatility from the Curse roster. They can decide who are we going to put in the jungle because both champions can do well top, both champions can do well in the jungle, and it's just going to be based entirely on what the rest of the Mighty Midgets pick. My guess would be Cho top, just because he's so immovable in that lane. His sustain from his passive is so powerful, and it's very difficult to force him out of that lane. And Rengar, for the first time at Dreamhack, gets locked in along with Irelia.
So it's going to be Rengar in the jungle, it's going to be Irelia in the top lane. Anguish, I've seen him play play Xin against Irelia. Can do it very well, can win, and even 1v1 kill that lane from time to time. And I know Meluno loves Jungle Cho, so that could sell it. That's fine, that's done, we'll go in with that. But at the same time, Jungle Cho up against Jungle Rengar, I'm not entirely sure who comes out on top of that.
It can go either way, because, you know, Cho's a fairly safe jungler. He doesn't tend to go very, very low. You know, he keeps his sustain up, once again, through the help of his passive, things like that. But what is awesome about this particular combination, we were looking for that dive-in dive-in champion, who's going to commit, who's going to get in there. And Rengar can do it in a slightly unique way, because he can just go in stealth.
Yep.
You know, throw on that hunter, no, it's Thrill of the Hunt. Yeah, throw on Thrill of the Hunt, gets a couple of seconds of stealth, gets the command protect on him, dives in onto everybody, and can pull them all together. So I really, really like this champion. I also think it'll be the first time I've seen that combination, assuming they do it, of course, but that combination together, and of course it can work on Irelia as well. You know,
yeah,
throw
exactly.
on her, get her to Blade Surge in.
Yeah, if she finds that moment where I can get a good engage going in, I can do this, they're not going to start saying, no, stop it, you're not Rengar, you can't go stealth.
Yeah.
They're going to say, okay, take that perfect engage,
Exactly.
we'll work around you, and they'll use that combo with that. They do look like they're going to pick Corki. It wouldn't surprise me. That's the combo that Curse ran in their bottom lane last time round. It works very well, especially against Sona and Ezreal. There's a lot of damage that outputs from those two in a combo. And Sona is one of the squishiest supports out there now since the recent nerfs and the number changes. But it has also been a long time since I've seen Curse, or anyone for that matter, actually run Sona. So it's an interesting pickup. We'll have to see how it works. But as both rosters are now lined up, we're going to see some switches. We're going to see the champions finally settle down as to where they're going to be. It does look like Melina is going to keep Cho'Gath. Angershi is going to take Xin for the top lane. Glucose and 760, I believe we're going to switch in a second. I think 760 was the top laner.
Well, we will find out in about 30 seconds' time. But the interesting here, in terms of our summoner spells, 3 ignites and a heal. 3 ignites and a heal, the rest of the teams running flash, of course, and then the customary smite. But it's a very, very aggressive, kill-heavy summoner spell collection. Yeah. Not a single exhaust. And that's a bit worrying when you consider Xin could be crippled by exhaust. Ezreal could be crippled by exhaust. Rengar and Irelia could be crippled, as well as Corki. So a bit brave, but you know what? Maybe it means kills, 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 and that means an exciting game to cast.
I like that idea, though. It's okay, so if they come charging at us, what are we using exhaust on? Well, we put it on Xin. So, well, Zin's just got a couple of ultra attacks. Once he's knocked us up, knocked us back, we'll close him, we can kill him. Why do I need an exhaust to survive that initial damage? I'm going to be knocked up, sort of. Anyway, what if I just heal myself?
Yep.
And you guys then will kill him when he comes back in? We'll see if that actually works out, or if Xin has too much damage that the heal is just negated instantly and exhaust would have been better. But on top of all that, I want to talk about Extinct playing Lux. Been a long while. We saw it earlier on in the tournament anyway. We saw how powerful it could be from different AP carries. We've seen it mixed around different players. So it's his turn to show us what he can do. It's his turn to show us what she can do in this sense. And whether we'll see a similarity in the builds or whether we'll see a similarity in the playstyles, we'll see. We saw, of course, Citizen Wayne earlier used it a little bit too much, used his ultimate to farm creep waves.
Yep.
Never had it when the fight was needed. Never had it when he could poke Yellow Pete or execute Yellow Pete. Froggen, on the other hand, popping people off once, twice, 3 combos. Dead. Yep. Simple as that.
Exactly.
Finding Singularity, ultimate, everyone was gone. So we'll see where in those two Extinct falls.
And there's something that you've got to remember as well. The amount of CC is too damn high for Curse right now. Light Binding, double snare. You've got an AoE stun from Sona, AoE knock back as well as a knock up for Xin'Zhao. Knock up, silence. It's like every single one of them has some form of displacement or, crowd control ability. Nevertheless, we are into the game, and as is customary right now, there has been a momentary pause. So we do apologize about this brief delay. We're going to keep the camera on while we talk to the admins and get this matter resolved. It's probably just another speaker thing. It's just, we've got these soundproof headsets, so in order to get that working and everything, you've got to use the in-ears, and that's going to go through. So yada, yada, yada. They'll sort this out, get it fixed. You can see the guys busy fiddling with all the headphones once again. So like I said, all of that crowd control. One thing I'm a little nervous about, or I'm a little interested to see, is how they're going to combine the ultimate of Crescendo and the Crescent Sweep. Because they're two sort of counterproductive ultimates, unless, of course, you go, right, look, let's jump onto somebody once 4 or stunned. Knock everyone else away, and it's very easy to see who your target is.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, okay, so dive in there, stun them all. Pick one, land the passive on it. Of course, that passive doesn't get knocked back. Yep. Land that passive on the perfect target. While he's doing that, Extinct can fire his ultimate across the entire stunned group, takes a lot of damage down onto him, maybe even switch up the target Melina wants to keep there for that point. If it does more damage to one than another, actually, I'll hit this guy, use my knockback, knocks everyone else away. At that point, Ezreal can unload on this one target, take them out, or even Cho can unload on that one target with a quick feast, finish them off, and immediately becomes 4v5.
Well, we will see exactly how it does play out as we are live. Because the team's already starting to move around. Command attack being thrown out from Moopsy just to get some vision in that little river bush area. And just taking it once again, another defensive start. Two very, very early wards from the mighty Midgets. Or take a look at this, 760 may be able to get away to safety. He was in the bush, they denied vision for a tiny bit. Anguish is trying to get up into range. Glucose is now there, this is a 3 versus 2. And nothing happened, not a single auto attack, not a single spell. They effectively shook hands and said, good luck, have fun.
Neither one team seemed to be expecting to find their opposition in that jungle bush. Angus walked in there, spotted him, turned to go the other way. Hang on, there was someone there. Turned back and started to chase for this point. 760 was plenty out of there with loads of space between the two. And Angus wasn't about to start with his charge. Hasn't leveled up any ability yet. If he had done that, what would he have done? He'd have got close. He'd have stayed close.
Yeah, exactly.
About it. So it's not what he wants to start for his top laning. Not need to blow it onto 760. Here's a ward here though from Curse. They managed to place that in at the Wraith camp and now of course get vision of the red as well. But nothing much more than that. And a nice play from mighty Midgets. Planting a pink ward down and immediately killing it, taking away the vision that Curse had. But ultimately, Lulu did just steal the big Wraith from 760.
Oh, and take a look at how sneaky this is. A little bit of a delayed invade now. So we'll see whether or not Curse are anticipating this. Phosphorus Bomb goes down. Creates an... Did he get within vision range? That's the question. 760's managed to get out of there. He's going to immediately see that there's 760. Start putting some auto attacks down. Smite is available. One more auto attack.
Oh!
Creatin steals it with an auto attack, and 760 is going to put him very far behind. Well, we've got a moment or two. Why don't we readjust that scoreboard really quickly and get everybody to match up against one another. And it's been a double swap. So we've got Lulu and Corki in the top lane facing off against Ezreal and Sona. And of course, both of our top laners have now officially moved down to the bottom lane. The thing is, Rengar, the fact that he doesn't use mana and the fact that that resource doesn't really make a huge difference other than cooldowns for his particular jungle, it's not the end of the world. Yes, it will slow him down. The cooldown reduction is very, very important and valuable to him. In the top lane, Vanda's forced to flash to safety. Now Sheepa as well, taking so much damage. The blue buff on Creatin, he's going to carry on chasing. Mystic Shot plus Ignite is just not enough. Dropped down to about 10 HP. Now the Phosphorus Bomb onto Vanda. You see the power cord coming out from Super Rays, managing to apply a little bit more attacks. But the thing is, the heals from Sona are going to be so much more valuable than the shield from Sheepa. It's going to be able to heal them back up. You can see those potions are ticking away. And once Creatin maybe gets another level into that Arcane Shift, might go aggressive.
Well, let's watch it. He has picked up the Arcane Shift. He's still got his Summoner Heal, and he's got a lot of health here because he's gone through all his health potions. He hasn't really got the health he needs to finish these two off yet. They've got a little bit too tanky again. They've used their health potions up as well. So they'll have to poke him down a little bit more as of yet. But let's wait and see exactly how that plays out. We'll keep up close, especially as Super is now his level 2 and starts to get himself a heal on the board. Rengar did very cool after going to clear out his blue buff. Has obviously been stolen, but Vanda's going in again onto Kraton. He's taking the Ignite. He does have the Summoner Heal, but he doesn't want to use it while that negation's there. Now he forces it anyway, but Maluno's coming around the backside. The knockup's not going to land, but the red buff slow will, and Maluno picks up first blood under the top turret of mighty Midgets.
Very well played, incredibly well baited. Creatin knew he had Summoner Heal. He knew he could stay there, allow the heal to come out from Super Rays, keep it there, and then of course throw the Summoner spell just as it's about to land. And you got to admit, Cho'Gath's not going to mind not having his blue buff if he picks up first blood, immediately gets himself a Heart of Gold at 4 minutes and 10 seconds, and that's really just going to put him in a good position for the next couple of minutes.
Yeah, and just as we saw in the last game, as soon as Cho'Gath managed to pick up a kill, in the last game it was against Extinct on Evelyn, it's going to put him ahead, going to put the jungler ahead, it's going to allow him to grab himself an Oracles nice and fast. It's going to give that map control to his team, because of course he can kill all those wards. And give the crowd plenty to cheer about.
Exactly. Every time a ward goes down, the crowd does tend to cheer, but we're not going to complain as long as they're yelling. So this top lane, or effectively bottom lane now, 21 CS to 20. Ninja Tabi completed for Irelia, and only the Doran shield from Xin. And I think that's a bit of an interesting selection from Irelia. Yes, fair enough, her passive is going to reduce the effects of crowd control based on the enemies that are around, but with the amount of crowd control that Curse has, Ninja Tabi, is it really the best item to go for instead of the Merc trades?
It is against Xin'Zhao. I think that's basically what he's going for. It's more of a lane issue than a team fight thing. we'll see whether it works out for him. I mean, Anguish Xin'Zhao is very much based on his auto attack damage, of course, especially as we mentioned before, such strong early levels, you don't have that many abilities. That's where your damage comes from, is your auto attacks. If Glucose can negate that, he's maxing his Q, so that is lots of auto attacks, then yeah, he's going to negate a lot of that damage. It should help him out just fine. He's going to go in for a little bit of a trade there, but there, instant stun, and it cancels it, and then Glucose actually comes out on top.
Yeah, really nicely done. He's got a huge, huge wave that's sitting underneath his tower, so we'll see just how many of those CS he can actually pick up while under some pressure from Xin'Zhao. But luckily, the fact that Xin is melee means that he's effectively going to be able to farm for free, because Xin's not going to be able to trade or poke or put damage down without pulling some tower aggro just like that. But really well done, knowing the exact limits of that tower. I do apologize to Anguish, because he showed me exactly how you can be a melee champion and still poke while under tower range. 760 finds himself in a little bit of trouble. Feral Scream and Rupture lands, as well as the final spark. One more auto attack. The Lucent Singularity is not going to be enough, and the flash over the wall will get him to safety. But a nice little play there from 760 to get to safety, and even better play from Curse, immediately reacting to him being in the river.
Yeah, I really like that. The fact they saw him in this wall, they sandwiched him, and even better, the way Molino silenced over the wall so he couldn't flash. Then Alan did the knockup because he knew which way he'd be running, and without any kind of snare or anything, the laser landed anyway. Extinct managed to fire that off their blind and managed to land that laser, but unfortunately not quite enough levels in the silence yet. Wasn't stuck in there for long enough, and he wasn't able to flash out before taking any further damage.
Yeah, really, really great play. But 1-0 up, 1,000 gold difference. These lane swaps and a little bit of the farm advantage is slowly in favor of Curse right now, as well, of course, having the first blood with 2 assists, which is a good chunk of change. In the bottom lane, Super Ray's not afraid to play aggressive. Now in the bottom lane, Glucose and Anguish, they're trading back and forth, back and forth. Anguish is going to have the heal. Oh, come on, attack does land onto Extinct. It just delays the recall. And of course, Xin, every time he lands his 3rd auto attack, he's going to get a chunk of HP back. But Glucose will have superior HP healing once she activates her Heat and Style.
Kraton zoning Vander and Chipper out on his own at the moment. Just dancing around in front of his creeps, landing the attacks and landing his Q down, but Super Ace does take a quick burst of damage as that Phosphor Bomb auto attack lands from Vander. Goes back in for the power chord attack anyway, doesn't seem to mind, he'll just keep spamming his W out and getting plenty more heals. Kraton dodging that slow as Rengar starts to make his way down towards the bottom lane towards Anguish. He has been pinged by Curse though, they did see he's there, and Anguish is going to fall back and play it very safe. 760 realizing he's spotted, he does start to back away and pings on where he suspects the ward is. The Dragon Pit. And
that was creepily close, in fact. Actually, no, the reason why, it just expired. So he literally seen the corpse of the ward and was able to put it down. This top lane, the poke is just very, very aggressive. Both sides landing every single ability that they can. Glitter Lances are going out, Phosphorus Bombs, as well as the Hymn of Valor. Back and forth, and Super Ace is running low on mana, so he's got to be a little bit careful. That Fairy Charm of his is doing extreme work right now, and Vander dropped very low. Creatine is playing this poke game to perfection. If he can get in range, he may actually decide to go for a dive on this one. We can see Ignite is available for Sona. True Shot Barrage goes out. That's going to land. Is Super Ace going to get in range? Bottom lane, the triple Trident Strike rather gets knocked up, and now we're going to see Rengar 760. He's going to sneak up. Corki does not have the HP for a fight though, and I feel that if Rengar comes in, it's just going to put him in a situation where it's 1 versus 2, and yeah, he wisely backs out of that engagement.
Yeah, Luna coming up now too. That the last second shield from Chipper managed to save Vander with the last bit of health that he wouldn't have had otherwise. He's now going to have to recall. Kraton, are you going to go forward to try and cancel this? Not quite. You're just going to have to take the CS and deny it from them by forcing them to be in the base while these creeps all die under the turret. So, still just only the 1 kill, but it is a 1.5k gold lead in favour of Curse at the moment because of the difference in CS. 61 to 49 down there in the bottom lane from our top laners. 82 to 77 here in mid, and only 65 to 59 in the top lane. It's actually been quite even as far as our AD carries are concerned, despite the pressure Curse have constantly been pushing onto this top turret.
There's one thing I've got a question about myself in that top lane. Just before Vander recalled, he used his Summoner Heal. And initially I thought, oh, middle lane, Lucent Singularity hits Moopsy. But you know, initially I thought, okay, Summoner Heal, he's going to try stay in lane, try farm up a little bit more. But immediately after popping it, he decided to recall. So, you know, I didn't see if maybe it was a mystic shot that he thought was going to, you know, end his life or not. But nevertheless, Summoner Spell has been blown. Blue buff does actually get stolen. Very nicely done from Extinct. He throws out the final spark, steals it. I think that was blind potentially as well, because I don't see any wards there. Now we see Moopsy 1, 2, Anguish, Audacious Charge. Third one's going to knock him up in the air. Crescent Sweep is going to knock 760 away. Moopsy, unfortunately, is going to be held in place. Feast picks up the first kill. Now they turn their attention to 760. Flash, auto attack, red buff. Another 2 easy kills for Curse. Very, very well played and well coordinated.
Yeah, beautifully executed. Even tried to get in front of Moopsy there to try and knock him back with the ult. Of course, the passive attack was on there. He couldn't hit a mini, he couldn't cancel that, so he just stayed where he was. But it did push 760 into the wall, stop him getting into the lane, and as a result, the Light Binding managed to hit both of the targets, and the result of in a double kill and a dragon here for Curse at the 10-minute 50 mark.
One of the earlier dragons that we've seen thus far. Creatin and Vanda trading once again. Creatin gets turned, then the crescendo comes down. Now we're going to see Lulu. Wild Growth comes up. Ignite is ticking. True Shot Barrage goes across. Is the Ignite going to be able to pick up the kill? No! Lulu survives with less than 40 HP.
For the second time in this game.
Second time thus far. I think that Shipper needs to go and buy a lottery ticket today, because if this is how his luck is going, it's definitely going well for him.
Vanda is on his own under the turret now. Super Race is coming around behind. Actually, Kratos going to tank it. Going to take the Him of Valor power core there for a bit more damage. Now Kratos is going to have to back away from the turret, but Vanda is now fighting Super Race 1v1. Super Race cannot take this fight. Comes back in though. Does land another Him of Valor. He's got no mana. Comes for a flash with the last couple of ulti takes. Needs one more. But there's a flash Q from Kratos. And the Mystic Shot picks up the 4th kill of the game.
Really, really well played, but is it going to cost them their lives now? This is a level 6, 760. He's coming in. Throw of the Hunt has already been used. He's not going to be able to close the gap between Creatin and himself. He could have burned the flash, but I think it would have been a risky move. And nevertheless, first kill now on the board for the mighty Midgets. It does go to Rengar, and Rengar is a champion who can do very, very well, if he picks up some kills and some items, but it's a little scary right now. 3,000 gold difference already. And other than a little bit of farm, at the moment, Curse are definitely in the driving seat.
Anger's taking a few too many turret shots there. Does take the Ignite. He's going to take the ult from Irelia as well, but Maluna's coming around behind the turret. Anger's going to try and do what he can. The knockup's not going to land because of a good flash from Glucose, but the silence is in there. There's the Feast. Suddenly they're very close, and Anger's is healing from the passive. Does save his life.
Wow. Well, take a look at his items as well. Giant's Belt as well as a Chain Vest. So all of that auto attack damage was reduced. Of course, Heat and Style was there for a decent chunk of it and added some true damage. But, all the auto attacks getting reduced from a champion like Irelia, who relies on her auto attacks for most of her damage. And, of course, the Giant's Belt. All that additional HP, those 2 or 3 tower hits that he took, that's the difference. That's your Giant's Belt HP, the 430 odd that it added extra. So great itemization. Sunfire Cape now completed. And, a matter of 2 CS difference, but 2 kills and an assist for Anguish. He's definitely in the driving seat in that lane.
Yeah, 5-1. Cursor in the driving seat for the entire game. At the moment, they're up by over 4,000 gold at 13 minutes. Picked up 1 dragon, done some damage to turrets, but haven't managed to kill any yet. Just keep picking up kills everywhere. They're zoning out this top lane as well. Kraton, Vanda Noob. Sorry, Vanda Noob's the name he's got on live servers. Vanda and Shipper are still content to be falling back, waiting for the creeps to come to their turret and trying to pick it up with CS there. They are slowly falling further and further behind there, but we do have Maluna coming into the mid lane. He lands the silence in on the move. There's the snare. Knockup's going to come out, and with a final spark, he gets executed by Extinction.
Yeah, once again, just textbook play. Cho'Gath comes in, he applies the CC, the slow, manages to hold him in place, and every single ability lands that needed to land. So really well played. Looking up in the top lane, Super Raze and Creatin, they're looking like they're about to take this tower down. It is very, very low. Creatin's deciding not to auto-attack it. He's going to allow the creeps, as many of them, to get denied as possible. Reduce the gold, reduce the experience, and just make it even harder for Vanda to stay in this game. Now, all of a sudden, the CS is dropping. Are we going to see a bit of an engagement here? Creatin gets slowed by the Glitter down in the middle lane. There's a number of pings now. The rest of Curse have turned their attention on that mid lane. We're considering a dive up in the top lane. Engagement does go back and forth. Crescendo is still available for Super Raze, though. He has not used that ultimate. He has not used that CC. And it just looks like Curse, they're pushing everywhere. They've got the advantage in almost every single lane, and they're just pressing it home as hard as they can.
They do grab that mid turret as well, with Angus coming around behind that. They're now all in this top half of the paused jungle. Top half of the jungle for mighty Midgets. 760 has stealthed up just before that pause went out, and he is heading towards that red buff. But we'll see exactly how that plays out in just a moment, because Maluna has early smited it, so he could manage to steal it away. But they're up by over 6,000 gold at the moment. we are at 14 minutes 45 seconds, and hopefully this issue isn't too serious.
Well, I have my eye on chat, so if anybody does say anything, I'm sure we'll see exactly what's happening, and I'm pretty sure the cameraman will give us a shot. It's probably going to be another audio issue, but nevertheless, at the moment, Curse, you know, it's their game to lose. You know, that's the way to look at it. They've created this fantastic opportunity. They've put themselves in a position where they've won all of their lanes, not necessarily in dramatic, over-the-top, fantastic fashion, but it's clear, it's concise. They've stayed ahead in farm, they've created kills. We see 760, he is stealthed up, now we're going to be running away. He's decided to leap on, Wild Growth comes down, he's knocked up 3, Super Race gets a crescendo down, 760 goes down before anybody can pick him up. Sheep is the next one in trouble, now Irelia has joined the fight. The final spark comes across, Shockwave pulls 3 people back, with the True Shot Barrage going out, still not picking up a kill. Nobody's died just yet, and look at how low everybody is. Curse are going to be happy with picking up the single kill and now backing away, backing out of that fight. A good engagement by the Mighty Midgets, to be honest, but they just didn't really have the damage to complete the kills, and that was what was missing.
It was a nice try by 760, and as Miluna smited so early, he could have possibly stolen that away. But there was an Oracle's up on that Miluna. You go in that bush, he'd immediately been spotted, so he might have grabbed the red buff. But honestly, he'd have died anyways. We do get a Loosen Singularity across land up to Vanda. Unfortunately, the Light Binding didn't quite do the same. Otherwise, that would be a dead Corki. And, well, as he was not alone, he was still there. That Binding just whiffing past his tail. Shipper's still there though. Shipper's got that shield. Can try and block the auto attack damage from Extinct. He was trying to do it again, but 760 this time. Oh! Snipe! 760 couldn't in the way of that one.
Completely deleting, and Vanda, you know, his mind wandered. Flash is available. Flash was there and to be used. And I guess it's one of those situations where you sort of see the line and go, is this really? Like, no, that can't be the laser. And then that's it. Deleted, dead, unfortunately.
That hesitation just...
Exactly, that momentary. Now in the bottom lane, Anguish is going to jump onto Glucose immediately, take an Equilibrium Strike to the face. It stuns him up because, of course, he does have that huge HP advantage. Well, I mean, Giant's Belt over the Ruby Crystal. So, you know, additional HP. He's going to take some tower aggro from the Sunfire Cape. Now Cho'Gath is coming in there. Crescent Sweep comes out. Rupture knocks him up. A very, very nice... dash backwards from Glucose, and he gets out of the gank safely. But now Curse are going to say, well, let's shove this lane and let's take the third tower of the game. All front towers down, and they're going to be able to, you know, secure any dragon that they want. It should be up around about now as well. If I recall correctly, they took it around 10 minutes 40 or so. And you can see everybody setting up, and there it is, immediately setting up for the second Drake of the game.
Yeah, and that bottom turret should fall down to creeps any second. There it goes. So that's 3 out of turrets, and now the second dragon of the game heading towards Curse. But Mighty Midgets are closing in. Unfortunately, they're all being zoned away by Soul Anguish, as that slow from Shipper also completely misses. But Curse is still hiding in. He's going to dash in, knock 2 of them up. Vanda gets nuked down by that final spark, and the Ezreal hooks Shipper and 760 as well. 760 has been Wild Growth by Lulu together, knock up and the health back. But it is just the one death, but it is the AD carry. It is an important member of Mighty Midgets, and will allow Curse to push up onto this bottom and mid lane at the same time.
Yeah, every single lane is pushing in their favor right now. The top lane is a little bit balanced, but because it's sitting at Curse's tower, the tower is going to be able to pick up all of those creeps and immediately allow their creeps to push down. So 4 members of Curse are shoving the second tower. It's going to be their 4th of the game. They've taken 50% of the HP down already, and look at how much damage that Lucian Singularity is dealing. The laser hits as well, immediately forcing Orianna out of the fight, and it just gives Curse additional free time to poke down this tower, finish it off, and immediately turn their attention. They're still not giving up. It looks like they may want to put some damage down onto this inhibitor tower. Listen Singularity for some vision. Extinct is thinking about it, and the call comes in from the team. Nope, let's take the inner mid lane tower and just pick up another 1,000 gold for the team. Once again, Curse just playing this by the numbers, playing a textbook. They've borrowed a small page out of CLG's book. Oh, very nice light binding onto Glucose. Now we're going to see an engagement here from 760. The movement speed buff comes up. His ultimate Shockwave pulls only Extinct backwards. Is it going to be enough? The laser comes across. That's 1, that's 2. True Shot Barrage as well as the laser. Too much damage. 5 members of Curse versus 4. 3 members of the Mighty Midgets. Shipper's going to get that movement speed buff. The attack, the dissonance is going to slow Curse. That's going to cancel the initiation, but a bad call from Mighty Midgets. Diving in. Shockwave only catching Lux, and she immediately flashes to safety.
It was a good effort. It was their last-ditch effort. Ultimately, it backfired because Curse are just way too far ahead right now. They were up by nearly 12,000 gold before that fight. Now they're up by nearly 13,000 gold. And yes, okay, it grabbed that Shockwave, it pulled Extinct back. There was a good target for it. but they just couldn't quite pull it out of the bag. And now with Curse going back to shop and spend 1,500 or more gold each, they're only going to get stronger for this next fight. And we saw that last poke, the bottom lane, that allowed Extinct and allowed the team to take that tier 2 in the turret. There's about 3 abilities from Extinct. There was one Loosen Singularity, a Binding that hit no one, and then a final Spark. And suddenly they had to back off and give up the turret. Now that he's stronger, he could do that again. And okay, maybe he has to do it twice this time if they dodge it a couple of bit more. But that's going to open up an inhibitor this time around.
And every single member of Curse is sitting on 0 deaths with the exception of their support. You know, 202, 207, 304. It does not get better than that. I'm looking at my chat history very quickly in terms of items. There is not one major item completed for the mighty Midgets in the last 10 minutes. 5 minutes, there's my math, a little bit more accurate there. It's scary when you think about it, when Aegis of the Legion, Athene's, Trinity Force, Zeke's Herald, Wit's End, and Shirelia's Reverie, itemization-wise, they are so far ahead, and that's what 13,000 gold does buy you.
And they are now pushing onto this mid-inhibitor turret with 4 members. Angus has just grabbed that red buff and stolen it away. They're going to take a lot of damage onto this turret because Kraton is just allowed to completely free damage it. He doesn't land a quick Q down onto Shiver. That gives him turret aggro for the red buff. But they're going in. In actual fact, Angus diving straight in onto Corki. Final Spark's going to hit Shiver and 760. The ult still not being used by Shiver. Now goes go on 760. But Sona ult catches just that one person. Glucose finally comes to the top and dashes in. Curse turns to focus on the turret. Moopsy's going to back away as they execute Glucose with that Extinct final water attack. We do now see Lulu taking the turret in the bottom lane, waiting for something more to happen, but Curse are onto this inhibitor, and it will fall down very quickly, even though it was just Kraton attacking it. You have Orianna recalling the bottom lane, trying to get back onto this fountain to join a team, but the first Nexus turret is going to fall. Curse is switching on to turret number 2. There's still 4 members of Mighty Midgets here, but they just do not look like they want to go in for this fight. Curse have exposed the Nexus. The knockup does go on to 760. Immediately stealth. Now he goes in. There's the ball in on top of it, but is there shockwave for Moopsy? Curse don't seem to care. They're just going to focus down the Nexus, and they will take themselves to 1-1 in the group and finish out this game.